Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, you guys. It is your girl, Miss Honey, here to do a review slash discussion for Power. This is season 6. It is the mid-season finale. And the name of the episode is a common thread, a common theme that we hear throughout the entire episode, which is "No one can stop me." And this episode really just, although rushed and strewn together, raggedly, it's all about basically James St. Patrick moving to this place where he leaves everyone that he knows, with the exception of Ramona and Simon, in this place where they feel like James is just not here for them anymore. Like, he's not salvageable anymore. So let's get into this episode, you guys. The episode opens with James St. Patrick sitting on his bed and he's contemplating. He calls his son Tariq. You guys know that they had a really tumultuous disagreement in the previous episode where Tariq just really had a come to Jesus moment with James and just called him on being, not only selfish and self-absorbed, but, never ever having been there for any of them, especially Tariq. And so he calls Tariq and leaves him a voicemail. He wants to talk to him and bring some things, make some things more clear to him, more apparent to him. Like, I want to clear some things up now that we've had some cooler heads are prevailing at this moment. I want to talk to you. I need to talk to you, son. I need to just shed some light on some things that you think you know, but you really don't know. That's fine. And at the same time, when he hangs up, he gets a call from Ramona, and Ramona wants him to look at the TV. And he's like, look at the TV. Well, there is an announcement. She sort of rushed the process, went ahead and talked to the press and pulled some strings. And they are announcing that James is not only leaving Tate's campaign, but he could possibly, it looks like he's moving to um, Lorette's, Lorette's, I can't think of her last name, campaign as lieutenant governor. And he smiles. There is a look of fear on his face, but he tells Ramona that he thinks that he's ready. And later we see that when he's talking to Ramona and talking to Lorette about the Queen's Child's project and, next steps and how they can use this project to appeal to the urban voter out there, they realize that Tate pulled the project. Well, Lorette don't want James without the project, without the QCP project. You better find a way to get this project back up and rolling. Maybe not at that location, but you need to get it back up and rolling. Like, it needs to be a part of the campaign. And she's not going to solidify anything until he makes that happen. Or if he doesn't, she's going to go and talk to Rashad and see if Rashad want to be her lieutenant governor. She ain't got to deal with him. You know what I'm saying? This let you know early on that nobody here is friends. This is all about business. We see where James goes back to the old neighborhood and he goes into this bar. It's a bar on the bottom. I think it's a couple of apartments and storage and warehouse. It's a huge building. The dude comes out, same individual. I almost called his name that played Papa Bordelon in Queen Sugar, as well as he was the major on where did Denise Huxtable go to school? Dang. Y'all put it down below. Oh, I feel like I want to call it out, but I can't. Anyway, it's early in the morning, y'all. I'm getting ready to go get my hair blowed out. Get me old nasty blowout. Um, and honestly, I would have been mad if I had gotten up to watch this episode and review it. But since I had somewhere to go anyway, it kind of all falls into place. But let's get back to the episode. So he talks with the guy, and the guy doesn't really seem to remember him. And he asks the guy if he wants to sell, and he says he's not selling. He's grateful he owns every part of the building, and he doesn't rent the building because they're forcing people out with gentrification and whatnot, and he wants to leave this building. And so James was like, well, maybe I can make you an offer. And so he writes the money down on a napkin, gives it to the guy, and the guy looks at him and was like, no, young blood, I can't take that. And he was like, well, what can I do to convince you? He was like, you'll just sell it and turn this into, a strip mall or Starbucks or whatever, whatever. And he was like, well, what if I can promise you that it will be about arts and music for the kids? And my daughter, she was into singing. This would be dedicated to her and to other youth like her. And the guy says to him, you just like your daddy, or your daddy would be so proud. And it's at this moment that James realizes that this individual, it does know him. I forget what he called him, Uncle Bub or Uncle something. Anyway, the guy does remember him. He was kind of running game a little bit and just trying to see where James's head was at. Of course, I recognize you. Apparently, this gentleman and James's father used to own the building together, used to be partners. And James's father passed away because he was snitching, or he went to the police on some drug dealers that was trying to shake all the business people in the neighborhood down. And after his father was killed, that's when he went to go and stay with Tommy and his mama. And the guy just, tells him that he thinks his father would be proud of him. And he tried to tell his dad not to get involved, to just pay the people, pay the drug dealers off or whatever. But his dad wasn't having it. He was about doing what was right. And he felt like if he had paid them, they would just keep coming back. And, James was talking about how he said, I knew the guy, Uncle Bub says, I knew you were going to be something great. He said, well, I am now. This is what James said. I was like, Anyway, he agrees to sell James the building. James feels good about the situation. Later on, James goes and seeks capital from Simon in exchange for looking at several project developments after he becomes lieutenant governor. Now, the whole Simon situation is kind of weird because Simon kind of seems like he's sweet on James. But apparently he just has a thing for people of color, period. So, yeah, it's weird. So he's got the money lined up to get this building in order to make it the new Queen's Child project. Like, everything is on point. And then we see where he gets a visit from Angie's ghost. He's standing there. He's looking out the window. He's looking over all that he surveys. This is in his hotel room. And he's just thinking about, this is it. This is finally it. I'm right here at it. Like, I am about to leave all of this of my past and all the bones and the, the drudgery of my past behind, and I'm about to move into the marvelous light. Like, people not gonna believe it, and Angela shows up in a beautiful red dress, and it's supposed to be this moment where he kind of reconciles, and also said they say goodbye to one another. You've got it all. You know I just don't have you to share it with, Angela. And she was like, I could never have been here with you. I could never have lived in this lifestyle with you. It just would not have worked. And um, like I said, it's supposed to be this touching moment. But when in this episode, when you really start to just see how much everyone has done to keep themselves out of jail or alive, or keep their family members from being jailed or killed, to keep money in their pocket, to save face, you realize it's a it you know it's you'd be hard pressed to find someone that has clean hands on this show. It's just the way that it has been written. And she asks him about Ramona, and asks him about how he feels about her. And it was a ridiculous moment. So just as they make an announcement about James being the running partner and running for lieutenant governor, at the same time they are searching James's apartment. All right, let's put a pin in that, because we're going to kind of talk about what's going on. Now, there is this whole movement from the federal side, and Stacks. Y'all know he don't work for them no more, to bring James in. Well, we get to see Stacks. He goes down up to the old office to try to implicate James. You guys know he had Dre to go to James's hotel room and plant Silver's phone. And of course Warner is listening to what Stack says, but he feels like you're crazy. Why are you down here again? Why are you back here in this place? Get out. Later, when Blanca comes to talk to Warner mentions that Stacks was there, and he just doesn't give up, and he's still after St. Patrick. And Blanca supports Stacks in his theory about James and Terry Silver. Now, she doesn't tell him that she took took Stacks down to the Silver crime scene. Well, we see where Stacks and Blanca then go to see Tate. They have decided that they've got to work that much harder to find somebody who is not so happy with James St. Patrick right now, to turn him up. And so they go see Tate, and Tate is, he's not per se vicious about the situation. He isn't like, oh, I got a whole bunch of stuff to tell. They kind of have to lead him to that place where he understands what it is they want to hear, which is that he overheard, or he was told directly by James, that he had an issue with Terry Silver dating his wife. And when Tate realizes what they want, he put 20 on 10. Oh yeah, he was very angry. Oh yeah, and he left out of here, and took off after Tasha when she left here. Oh, he was very angry. And it's like, they're like, yeah, Blanca doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to, she doesn't want to get this false testimony. She doesn't want to go this route. But Stacks is all in. Y'all know he ain't got nothing to lose at this point. And he sees that Tate is breaking and is willing to lie. Blanca doesn't really have a leg to stand on when it comes to Stacks. He's rogue, and she's desperate too, to be honest. So they let it all happen. Then we see where Blanca gets the warrant that she needs for James's apartment, based off the lies of Tate. And she finds dirt on the shoes, which proves nothing. She finds Terry Silver's phone, which she did not have a warrant for in the first place. You know, you gotta have some facts to corroborate this evidence you've come upon, or else I could take a phone from anywhere and be like, oh yeah, this is the phone that was used in the crime that was committed on this day or the other. So everything they got is circumstantial. It is fishing. It doesn't hold weight. You know what I mean? Like, the heat is on now. So anyway, it's a whole debacle. It's a whole mess. So we see where Blanca takes all that information back to Warner, and he shoots it all down. He shoots the phone down, and at the same time, they realize that Stacks is probably the one that's orchestrating this in one way or another. So then we see where they call Stacks in. They're going to basically try to charge him. They can't fire him. They've already fired him. They have Blanca there, Warner there, Stacks, and Benson and Hedges. She is there looking so beautiful. And she's a corporate lawyer now, and she runs it down. You have no proof. Now you can try to lock Stacks up and put him in jail, or you can do what you've got to do to get rid of James, to lock James up. Like, which one makes the better headline? And Stacks is like, Warner also realizes in this moment that Blanca has been using Stacks, and Stacks has been using her. He's been bringing her and Stacks in. She's been bringing Stacks in and out of the investigation since he was termed out. And in learning this, it immediately puts them all in cahoots. Okay? With the exception of Benson and Hedges, who doesn't work for the federal government anymore, or Stacks. Everybody else, Blanca, and the entire office is being put in jeopardy now because they are falsifying evidence. Okay? They are stretching the truth way, way, way out of proportion. Well, we see where after Benson and Hedges lets them know they have a choice, they go and see the judge, Warner and Blanca. They present all the evidence. He shoots all of the evidence down. He shoots every last piece of it down because you don't know how the dirt got on St. Patrick's shoes. How many times has he been back and forth from the Queen's Child Project site? Have you have proof that Terry never went to the Queen's Child Project site? See, Judge, you trying to make sense. Okay, you using your rational mind. You can't use your rational mind when you watching Power. You can't do that, huh? We rush, we falsify, we skip over. We don't pay attention to details. That's where you messing up at, Judge. That's where you frustrated at it. But I digress. Then we see where after they put all the evidence in place and the judge doesn't want to talk about it, Warner goes ahead and gets in deeper with Blanca. And he presents the phone as evidence. And it's just crazy. It's crazy. We see where Blanca breaks the news. Well, she gets a call from Dre. She gets a call from Dre, and he calls her from jail and basically tells her that he has been framed by James because for Jason's murder, and she agrees to have some leniency with him where the court is concerned, but if he will say that he heard James say that he got rid of Silver, Now, this is all in an effort to get the judge to give her the warrant, to give her the arrest warrant, right? If you can say that you have knowledge of this, I can get you out of jail tonight. I was like, wow, y'all can basically do whatever y'all want to do according to this show. I'm gonna tell y'all now, black people, don't believe this show. This show is not a good representation of how you will be handled or how you can maneuver out of court cases or being charged for a crime. Get you a bona fide lawyer, because what they got going on here on this show is some straight bull. So he says, no, I didn't hear. Dre says, no, I didn't hear him say that, but I was there. Yeah, we was at the apartment. She said, you mean the parking garage? He was like, yeah, a parking garage. That's where we was. And I tried to get James to stop, but he just wouldn't. So she decides she gonna go ahead and call the judge. All right. And I assumed that the whole situation was a bust when she went back to the judge to talk to him about what Dre had to say. I assumed it was a bust, but we saw that Dre got out of jail, and we hear Blanca say to Stacks that it's over, said and done, because the judge says he's not going to see any evidence that's not substantial. He's not going to take any testimony from someone who knew him personally, ran the game with him personally, or has a vendetta against him. That's Dre all along. This is what she tells Stacks, which leads him to be angry and sullen to decide he's going to take matters in his own hands. We also learned that Blanca also lets Paz know it's a no-go. No, Paz, it's not going to happen. We're not going to get James for Angela's murder. She also goes and lets Tate know, we don't need your testimony anymore because the judge has thrown it all out. James St. Patrick basically gets away with everything. Now, all of these conversations put everybody, Dre, Tate, Paz, Stacks, in this mindset where they feel like they got to take matters into their own hand to get rid of James. Now, let's go on back over here to James St. Patrick. We see where they, like I said, they raided his apartment. He doesn't really know. It was like a peep and see, so he doesn't know that they've been there. They put everything back where it was. We see where he goes to see Raina's gravesite, and he's having these kind words with Raina. I'm finally gonna give you your just desserts, and woo woo woo. Tasha walks up with flowers. What are you doing here? I'm here every week, James. He tries to apologize for putting his hands on her. And at the same time, she is just like, I don't understand, James, why you're doing this. You were supposed to be our option. You were supposed to be our way out of this situation. And, he is dismissive and, typical James, except it's different in this episode. In this episode, he's so pervasive with it. It's just like he feels like he's going to be lieutenant governor and everyone else is going to be beneath him, and at this moment he doesn't really have to show any of them any type of respect or empathy whatsoever. And so he dismisses her and diminishes her, and he just tells her, you're selling drugs, and you're going to end up locked up too. And she was like, really, you talking to me about selling drugs? And he tells her that no one can stop him now. He's on his way. No one can stop him now. Then we see where he's a cocky butthole to Tate when Tate comes to warn him. Okay, this is previous to Tate learning. This is after Tate has told this falsified lie to Stacks and Blanca. Tate feels bad, and Tate comes to try and talk with James about it and just give him a heads up about it. And James is so cocksure that basically he he belittles and diminishes and demeans throughout this episode, and Tate is another casualty of that. And Tate decides he's not going to say anything. In the one moment that he's when James says he's got to go and see his son, and Tate remembers the kids, he goes to try to tell James again, and James comes back and just breaks him down. You were never on my level. You could never have stood up to me or run with me or meet my something. He just, the way he talked to him just broke him down to the lowest common denominator. It was brutal. And he does this throughout the whole episode. So we see where Tariq comes over, and when he comes over, he brings Dre. And Dre, is like, I know you set me up, and I know you're not going to kill me because Tariq right outside. And Tariq was like, he knows everything, Dad. I told him everything. He knows everything. And he's, I think you should talk to him. And Dre is feeling real, self-assured, So, again, James demeans him and demoralizes Dre and shoots him down. And then sends Dre packing. Don't you ever come around here again and stay away from my son. Then he calls over to that abandoned building and tells the security guard on the burner phone that he can release the video now to the police. Now, Dre told James he wanted money. I want money. I give you $250,000. That's all I'm gonna give you. But you gotta meet me later. Well, how can I trust you? You can't trust me. But you need money, don't you? That's fine. Demeans, demoralizes, sends him packing. So when he calls the security guard and sends money over for the security guard to release this tape, he destroys the SIM card in his phone, calling the burner phone that he gave the security guard. I mean, he just seems like he's covering all of his bases. So then we see where James goes and basically he shakes Vince down. Now he goes and and makes this speech about being lieutenant governor, all that, and it's all very nice. After that, he gets a text from Tommy, and Tommy's been lurking through all of those events and stuff, just kind of watching him from afar. And Tommy texts him to meet up with him. They go back and forth when they meet up about, we were supposed to be friends, you can't trust anybody in this game, and Kanan taught us that. But yeah, man, I thought we were supposed to be brothers. We were brothers, but things have gone too far now. And at this moment where you think that they're going to have this warm, fuzzy reconnection, there is a shot fired. But the shot is fired just after James demeans and demoralizes and basically just dismisses Tommy underneath the ground. And Tommy pulls out a gun. And it seems like this is going to be the moment. Then there's another shot fired, and it seems like they are both being shot at. Now, we don't know by who. They split up and do the thing that they do. We go around back, and you go up top. How many shooters is it? Tommy runs in the building. James hears the shots again. He screams out for Tommy like he is concerned about Tommy, like he hopes that Tommy didn't go in that building and get shot by one of these two shooters. And James makes his way in the building. He finds one of the shooters, a guy, somebody laying there dead on the ground. We don't know who it is laying there dead on the ground. It kind of looked like Grimace, but I don't think we remember Grimace no more. I don't think Grimace was ever a part of this show. I think Grimace was a figment of our imagination now that we think about it. Oh, it's just so ridiculous. So he leaves that moment and he goes and shakes down Vince for a favor. And Vince lets him know that Tariq wasn't worth the energy, right? Ghost doesn't disagree. He relaxes the gun instead and says, I know you got people on the inside. I need you to get a burner inside. He want him to get a burner inside. The burner's going to Two Bit and Turtle, right? They happen to be in the same cell together. Okay. So we see where Paz shows up at the doggone club that's never open. We do get to see the club open this episode, and this is the first time the club has been open in about, I would say, this whole season. Have we seen it open? I guess we did see it open for when Tate shot Alphonse, but I mean, anyway, Pa shows up and she wants to. She tells him she knows he didn't kill Angela, but she knows who did it. At the same time, Ramona comes in and she's standing just behind the partition, and she's listening to the whole Paz James conversation where he tells her he has no idea who killed Angela, and he wish he could tell her, but he can't because he don't know who did it. And they lament about how much he loved her, how much she meant to him, and how much she meant to Paz. And Paz just gets her things and leaves and says, I'll never come back to see you again. I'll never talk with you about this again. And, it's a moment for James. And she walks out. Ramona walks up, and Ramona is worried. She's concerned. Am I going to have to compete with a ghost? I want us to be honest. I want us to be truthful. I'm like, girl, everything y'all done to this point is a lie. Is a whole lie. Like, now you want truth? They kiss. Oh, I've been waiting to do that for a while. I was like, oh, this sounds familiar to me. Anyway, he assures her, and like I said, she panicked about love. She panicked about politics. Like, let me know what's up so before I get in too deep. So Tasha and James have got to do a walkthrough to the restored penthouse. I'm assuming they own it. And so now they've got to go and just check out and make sure everything was put back like it was supposed to be put back. I personally couldn't live there no more, but okay. They fight about Tariq. James wants Tariq to confess. And she was like, you're crazy. My son is not confessing. And you said that you would take the heat. You said that you would protect us. Everything that you was doing was supposed to be to protect us, James. And he was like, no, Tariq needs to confess. I mean, no one's going to blame him for killing his sister's killer. And she was like, I'm not letting my son confess. That's not going to happen. And he was like, well, you know what? You don't have any choice in this. You're going to do as you told, and you're going to follow suit, because if you don't, I'll tell about Keisha. Okay? And I'll tell him about everything you did with Keisha. And she was like, oh, no, I'm going to tell him about Terry Silver. And he was like, don't be ridiculous. You know I'll snap your neck. I'll snap your neck. Quit talking like this, Tasha. Quit talking along these lines and get on board. I figured it all out. This is the perfect plan. Tariq going to go down for all of this. And then everybody going to move on. And when I'm lieutenant governor, I'm going to look out for Tariq. I'm going to get him into a military school, and everything's going to be Gucci. And she was like, you are crazy if you think I'm going to let you talk my son into turning himself in. A black man? Oh, no. He got a face of jewelry? Oh, no. And he tells her, Tasha, nothing's going to stop me. When she bring up Terry Silver, he got dead serious. She told him, she said, I hope you get everything you deserve. He was like, yeah, that's my plan. He looks around and goes into the room, in Raina's room, and Raina appears. He sees Raina. So we got the ghost of Angela and the ghost of Raina. Later on, we're going to see the ghost of Kanan. And he asks Raina about, everything that happened. And she was like, it was my fault too. And I shouldn't have kept it. I shouldn't have lied. And he said that was Tariq's fault. No, I didn't learn lying from Tariq. I learned lying from you and Mama. And he says, well, do you think I should get Tariq to turn himself in? And she was like, why not? I had to pay for my sins. He got to pay for his. And he feels like, okay, well, this is a sign that I need to forge ahead, except Raina is a ghost in your own mind. So that means your own mind is serving your own agenda. Raina is not the voice of wisdom. She's your own mind telling you what you want to hear. Okay, so Tariq finally comes to see James, and he tells Tariq the game. You confess. And he was like, "What? You crazy? I thought you said you was gonna take the heat from me, Dad." And I was, but it's been a change of plans. This is best for everybody. And Tariq was like, "Okay, you want me to confess? You confess." And so, he gets James to tell about his first kill. Basically, was a dude from the neighborhood. He was around Tariq's age, and the dude, he wanted the dude to push on, so I guess he could cat a territory or something, and the dude wouldn't do it, and so he took his word back. He gave him one more chance. The guy didn't take the second chance, so he did what he had to do. Tariq, gets up to walk out, and I was thinking to myself, now you being recorded. I don't understand why you think you can sit in front of Tariq and confess anything. I mean, Tariq has more than proven that he is not feeling you right now. And he tells Tariq, Tariq says, "I want you to tell me about every drug dealer, every murder." Ghost gives him this sob story, and he says, "Tariq, this is best for the family. This, you turning yourself in, is the best thing for the family. No, it's best for you, Ghost. It's best for you." And he walks out. Then we see where someone flips 2-Bit a phone in jail, and it's James on the phone, and James wants 2-Bit to handle something for him, to take care of something for him. I'm like, he's in jail. What does he want? I mean, Dre, like, I didn't get it. I don't understand what the call to 2-Bit was for. It can't be for Dre, because Dre done weasel his way out of jail by working with Blanca. Because they did lock him up after he called and told the security guard about releasing the video, the place where he was supposed to meet Dre. Dre meets him there, and the police come instead of James, and they lock him up. But he's working with Blanca. He done got out, so I don't know why he calling 2-Bit. Anyway, later on, we see them at this party at Truth, and James runs up on Ramona with his lips. Now, he's being very, very public about his affection for Ramona. She wants to keep it a secret, and rightfully so, because this ninja about to blow up on you, okay? And his supposed moral ethic character is about to blow up on you, but that's fine. And they kiss, and it's supposed to be this romantic moment. It's crap. Simon is there schmoozing. Tariq comes in, and Tariq has a question. Do you still want me to turn myself in? And James says, yes, it's best for everybody. And Tariq says, okay, good night, Dad. And he walks off. Okay. And James is like, good night, Tariq. I was like, yeah. Them final words. Then we see where Kanan's ghost shows up and basically pushes the point home that everyone hates him, that he's a no account, ninja, so on and so forth. And we see where Ramona goes to see James, at the end of the party, and let's talk later. I'll meet you at your hotel. It was such a magical night. And he was like, cool, let me just close up here. I was like, okay, JR. You gonna work late, huh? Let me just close up here, and I'll meet you down to the hotel, right? No problem. He sends her on his way. He's going through. Now, let me just say this. The best part about this episode, this mid-season break episode, is the fact that the soundtrack is just banging, 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 banging. That version of This Is a Big Rich Town at the end is beautiful. It is beautiful. It's giving me Anthony Hamilton, gritty, grainy, bluesy, bluegrass, chill. I just love it. I would love to have the soundtrack to this episode. It would be awesome. If y'all know how I can get that, put it down below. Let your girl know. So in this moment, everybody has learned that Ghost is not going to pay, that Ghost is on this path, that he is sure about this path, that he is not going to change his mind. And so they set their own plan in motion. So we see Paz, Tate, and Blanca's got an arrest warrant from somewhere for something. She's on her way down to Truth. We see Tasha on her way. She got a gun. We see Tommy, who was walking so fast. I was like, golly, he almost running down there. This was a weird episode for Tommy, too. It just was weird. It just didn't give us anything from Tommy's point of view. We see Dre. He got a gun. He on his way down there. Stacks, Lily White, got a gun and on his way down there to see James. And we see Tariq appears to be in a train station. He appears to be the only person that is not on his way down to Truth. But I suspect that Tariq got something up his sleeve. And as Blanca arrives to deliver the arrest warrant, we hear a gunshot. And we go pan back into the building, and all this time now at this moment we see Ghost falling with a bullet wound. You know, he seems to be reaching up like he's trying to grab hold to the last little strands of his life. And this soundtrack playing, this is a big rich town, and it's come on the poorest part. I can't do it, but it was very gritty, it was very grainy, it was good. And that's how the episode ends. That's it. 41 minutes. What do y'all think? Y'all tell me. I want to hear what y'all got to say about this episode. It was so rushed, so forced. I mean, we didn't spend any time on any scenes. People seem to transport from one scene to the next. It was just when I think about the review I did for the Kendrick Lamar episode with Kanan and that whole thing, I think about that was one of the last times I was super, super happy with the writing and the acting on this show. And those feelings have never returned. Ever since then, I'm just kind of trying to put together a decent review with some passion to show you guys how much this show initially meant to me. In terms of character development and dialogue and plot lines. Like, now it has just fallen so far from that. I'm not going to say I'm not going to do Power Chapter 2 because I don't know. As far as 50 Cent goes, he is definitely the mayor of Pettyville, but he has made good TV. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with Chapter 2 of Power. I'm looking just for some of them old feelings back. I'm looking for a little bit more Kendrick Lamar type acting. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this mid-season finale. Put it down below. And until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Ah!